Hello everyone and welcome. Today I just wanted to talk about something that I've been thinking about a lot recently and really focusing on in myself, which is the ego self. And in this video I'm just going to kind of talk about what it is and why it's really important to be aware of it and just kind of my view on the subject. But to start off, I'm going to say, when we talk about the ego self, you know, I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't mean ego as in like arrogant or egotistical or self-centered or anything like that. The ego that kind of I'm thinking about today is something that is a part of all of us, and it's basically how we identify ourselves and how we define ourselves as conscious beings, how we perceive ourselves to be in relation to everything else. So the way that we see ourselves is, you know, me, an organism. It's this sense of I and me, like me, I'm here and the rest of the world is out there, or everyone else is out there, and this is my experience and they're having their experience. You know, this sense of my emotions, my house, my possessions, my friends, everything that we see as kind of us, this me-ness, that's what the ego is. And it's something that we kind of develop it from a really young age. You know, from a young age, we're all through our lives, even we're exposed to new ideas, and we pick up these beliefs and these ways of thinking, and they all start to be things that we identify with. You know, we attach to our opinions, our likes and dislikes, our religious or philosophical beliefs. They're all things that we attach to and we identify with. And that, I think, comes from a young age, because from like primary school even, we're told kind of to have an identity. You know, you're sporty, or you're creative, or like musical, or really academic, or you're just like, I don't know, really troublesome, or even personality traits. It's all this kind of thing that we have an identity and we grow into it and we adopt these roles and these identities, and we think that they are us, and they become a part of who we think we are, whether they actually truly reflect us or not. We attach to them and we think that they make us who we are. And the problem with this is that with all these identities, you know, however you describe yourself, if you describe yourself as a kind person, you can only confidently say that you are a kind person if you believe there are people who are less kind than you. So in that sense, it's all relative. You know, you're not intrinsically something. You're not intrinsically creative or musical or kind or mean. You're not intrinsically any of those things. You can only say you are that thing because there are people who are less of that thing than you. So it's relative to everyone else, and we believe that this I, like I have these beliefs, I am this, I am that, and we think that that makes us who we are and that defines us, but it's not. You know, whether it be an identity like the kind friend, or being a doctor or a priest, or being a hippie or being a goth, all of these identities, that they're created by humans and by our minds, and the ego likes to attach to identities. It likes to think, you know, I am this thing, I am gonna, you know, it likes to define itself as something, and it feels good. You know, you feel secure and you feel comfort in knowing that you are something, whether it be a good thing or a bad thing. It's nice to fit into something, to fit into a mould and a small description of yourself that you want to have. But we chase them, either consciously or subconsciously. We want to have an identity. Our ego wants to have something that describes it and defines it. But they're human creations, and therefore they don't, you know, they're not ultimate truths. They're not completely and intrinsically true. They're relative to other things, and therefore they don't give us that sense of fulfillment, because they're things that we've adopted, they're things that we've picked up throughout our life, and they're not things that come really from deep within. They're things that we've kind of picked up from the world and, you know, made ourselves believe that makes us who we are, and attached to them and identified with them. And this gives us the false sense of separateness. You know, I think I have all these beliefs, I have this experience, and then, you know, this person has a different experience, and we're not separate. You know, I'm having my experience, they're having theirs. You know, we're all separate beings living in this kind of weird world when we're not. Everything that we are, everything that, you know, we do is all dependent on what everyone else is doing and what the whole world is doing, you know. Things don't just exist separately, but the ego makes you think that you do, that, you know, you're having this experience and this body, you know, it's like you're in a skin, you're in this shell having this experience when you're not, you know, you're a part of the universe and everything is connected. In Hinduism, it's called Brahman, and that Brahman is God in everything. You know, it's this divinity that is in everything. You know, it's not these identities that we attach ourselves to or these people that we think we are, because we're so much more than that. You know, we're divine parts of the universe. So yeah, these identities, they're false, and they can create really powerful emotions when we attach to them. You know, we think that they're so real and that, you know, we take our lives so seriously as a result of this sense of me and I, and, you know, we don't want certain things to happen to us because, you know, it's bad for me, or it's bad, you know, it's going to hurt me. But with that attachment comes the powerful emotions that cause us suffering. You know, it makes us competitive and jealous and insecure and angry and, you know, these negative emotions, because we take these identities so seriously. We want to be something, we want to be someone, and we take all these human creations to be like ultimate truths, and, you know, that's how the world is, this is all there is to the world. But if we look beyond or even look inwards, we know that these things don't define us. And when we release our attachment to these identities and this sense of I and me, it creates a sense of liberation for us, because we see that you don't need to take it so seriously. Like, being attached to this sense of I and, you know, like my experiences, and it makes things seem so serious. Obviously things happen in life that are serious and we need to take them seriously, but on like a basic human level, if we don't attach to this sense of me and this self-importance and this specialness and this separateness from everyone else, and in fact see the universe as one big kind of flowing river where everything's flowing together and everything's with each other and is one, rather than seeing our own experience as something separate to the rest of the universe, then it's a nice feeling. It makes us feel free and happy, because we don't need to worry. We're part of the universe. We're not kind of individual things that are going through all this and having individual and completely independent experiences, because they're not. You know, in this moment everything is related, everything is interdependent and interconnected. And if we could see that and, you know, really allow that to be a part of our life and a part of who we are, well, part of our ego, become a part of our life and how we view the world, as opposed to seeing ourselves as separate from it, it would, you know, it would feel good and liberating, and it would reduce that attachment and that suffering. But yeah, I feel like I'm waffling on a lot, so I'm going to end the video there. But yeah, every time I end a video I say message me if you want to talk about anything, comment, and if you're interested in what I'm saying, then subscribe, because that would be really nice. But thank you for watching and have a nice day.